Hi, my name is Jacqueline. The title of my presentation is Adolescent Sleep and Academic Outcomes, a pre and post-pandemic group comparison. And this research project was done with the mentorship of Tianning Tai and Dr. Kelly too. Adolescence is a key period of development that is impacted by many different factors. Previous research has cited sleep as an important factor in their academic achievement. For example, students with poorer sleep tend to have lower GPAs. Further, approximately 45% of adolescents get insufficient sleep, and this problem only worsens from middle school to high school. In 2020, schools across the world shifted to an online format due to COVID-19 restrictions. There has been contrasting research in current literature about the positive and negative effects of online learning. So the shift to an online learning format has brought about a unique opportunity to further explore adolescent sleep and their academic outcomes. The aims of the study were to investigate within and between group differences on sleep and academic outcomes, and whether the link between adolescent sleep and academic performance and school engagement differed between the non-pandemic and pandemic groups, with the expectation that youth assessed during the pandemic would fare worse in their sleep and academic achievement. The sample participants were taken from the middle school transition study collected through the ADAPT lab. 81 adolescents and their mothers participated by completing surveys online the summer before 8th grade. Data were collected for two cohorts. Cohort 1's data was collected in the summer of 2019 during a typical year, while Cohort 2's data was collected in the summer of 2020 after the pandemic started. Adolescents completed questionnaires that asked about their sleep-wake problems, sleep duration, academic performance, and school engagement. Mothers also reported on academic performance, which was combined with adolescent reports. T-tests to examine group differences and regression analysis to examine the sleep academic link moderated by cohort were conducted. Our regression analysis also included potential covariates that have been linked with sleep and academic performance and school engagement, including race, household income, BMI, anxiety and depressive symptoms, as well as media use. For AIM-1, as seen in Table 1, we can see that the highlighted results show the two cohorts with the non-pandemic and pandemic groups only significantly differed on sleep-wake problems, with the pandemic group reporting more sleep problems. When looking at Cohort 2 only, we found that youth reported more sleep-wake problems and less school engagement during the pandemic compared to pre-pandemic time point. And there were no other differences that emerged. For AIM-2, as seen in Table 2, we found that sleep-wake problems, but not sleep duration, predicted school engagement and academic outcomes, with group differences emerging with these significant interaction effects. So after plotting these interactions, it revealed that more sleep problems were linked with lower school engagement and poorer academic performance, but only for youth in the non-pandemic group, as seen with the red line. Although this finding is not consistent with our hypothesis, this pattern is consistent with previous literature. So perhaps there is something specific about the routine and schedule of attending school in person and the impact of sleep problems for youth engagement and academic performance. For youth in the pandemic group, as seen with the blue line, no association emerged between sleep problems and academic outcomes, which was inconsistent with our hypothesis. This may be attributed to the uncertainty of events brought on by the pandemic, as well as inconsistent findings about online learning and literature. Further, during the pandemic, teachers and schools may have accommodated to online learning formats by adjusting their expectations and grading of students' schoolwork. So even though youth were experiencing worse sleep during the pandemic, their academic performance and school engagement may have been less affected by sleep. We also do not know how students were completing school in the spring, so whether they were synchronous or asynchronous, and that limits our contextualization of school engagement. And although sleep duration may not have been different between groups, sleep schedules could have differed between in-person versus online groups that could have had differential effects on their academic performance. So with the continuation of online and hybrid learning in many schools, additional work is needed to understand the impact of online learning on youth sleep patterns and behaviors, as well as their academic performance and school engagement. Thank you for listening to my presentation.